Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the wonderful Sandi Marx.
I walked into my office, and sitting on my desk, it was a talent agency. So there's usually like a lot of pictures and resumes and lots of mail. And on the desk is sitting one of those big creamy envelopes, you know, the kind with the calligraphy, and it says Sandi Marx and family, so you know it's an invitation, which makes me so happy. And it's written in that kind of flourishy script that looks like Thomas Jefferson's inviting me to his son's bar mitzvah or something. So I always think was like you're sitting in tights with a quill pen, and I open it up, and I am the one in the office who always checks the yes box. I am way before emojis. I am a human emoji. I don't only check the checkbox, but I put X's and O's and sunshine, and I basically throw fairy dust in the envelope because nothing makes me happier than being invited anywhere, but especially a wedding or a bar mitzvah or a party. And in our agency, I had partners, but I was considered head of HR, which meant that I hired and fired everybody, and I was responsible for attending every wedding, every bar mitzvah, every bris, christening. I had to be there. I was the one. Nobody else. My partners couldn't tolerate it. They didn't have the personalities for it. So it's a good thing I went, because things wouldn't have gone well if they went. So, but in this particular time, I was really excited because I was looking for a reason to spend the day. It was the summer, and I wanted to spend the day with my husband, not this one, another husband. Spoiler alert. We hadn't been getting along, and we had seen a marriage counselor who told us, you need to have dates. You need to go out, do fun things, go out for a meal, go dancing. And I thought, what could be better than going on a Saturday afternoon with my husband, who I can't stand, but my two 18-month-old twins, who I adore and I never get to see because I'm always at work. This will be so much fun. I can show off my babies. He can try to have a good time, we can talk, and it's a very long car ride. It's all the way in the end of Long Island. So I figured we'll have all this time. We can actually communicate. I knew that this plan could work. So I tell Brendan, this is what we're doing, and he's not into it, and I say, Dr. Chaboulier said we're supposed to do this, and he knew he better agree, so he says, okay. So we have our clothes and stuff set up, but I gotta do some pre-production for my babies, because they have not been to any grand parties yet. They're babies. So I decide they need to look fantastic, because they're mine, and I buy them those dresses. Do you remember the dresses? They look like, there used to be dolls that would be sold on the streets of Harlem in like 12 tiers of lace with pearls, and then some people adorn the front of their Cadillacs with it, like a Madame Alexander doll, but not as classy, okay? So I decided my girls are gonna wear those dresses, and I found them, and they were like polyester Dacron, I don't know, but they had like crinolines and lace, and they were very big, like they looked like they were going to Tara, Scarlett O'Hara and her friends, you know, these are the dresses. And then I went out and I got them frilly little white socks and black patent leather Mary Janes. And they didn't walk, but I wasn't raising hobos, so I thought it doesn't really matter. They have to look really great. So I got them all these things. I'm all excited. The date comes close. Meanwhile, it's like the hottest July Saturday. Brendan is so not into this, but he knows he's got to go. Meanwhile, we have because we live on the Upper West Side at the time, and we're still like pre-kids mentality, so we're driving around everywhere in a Volkswagen Cabriolet convertible. Do you know how uncomfortable the car would be with 2 booster seats and 2 adults? And I'm the kind of mom who, if I could get away with it, I would keep the top down. I'm not that terrible, but I wanted to. So every time that top goes up with the babies in the back, I'm thinking, this is my life gone. This is where it is. My top is permanently, all my tops are permanently up. This is it. It's my life. So I tell Brendan, go get the car. So he goes to get the car. Now, because we can't afford to park near where we live, which is not an unusual thing in New York City, he has to go down to like 34th Street to get the car. And we live on the Upper West Side. So I get the kids packed up. We've got the Pepperidge Farm, you know, cheese sticks, you know, the little goldfish. They've got their juice bottles, they've got their diapers. It's a big haul. We might as well be going to Anatevka. I mean, we're like packing up. So I get them all packed up. They look adorable in these stupid, ridiculous dresses that are out to here, and they have those little shoes on, and you know, they look like at any minute they're going to be those dolls that one eye is kind of like this, you know. Like this. But they look great. I don't care. They're in it, we're committed. Okay, so finally we get them in the car, we strap them in. That takes like 20. I mean, if you have little kids, you know they do this thing, you got to get them in, and they've got to get the feet outside. But we finally get them in, and at the time, the biggest star in our kid's life was Raffi. I don't know if you know who that was. Fucking Raffi. And there was this song about apples and bananas that they played over and over and over. But I thought it's fine because they're going to listen to apples and bananas. We're going to drive, and then Brendan and I could actually communicate because we are married and we have to stay married because of these two kids in their frocks in the back seat. Okay, so we start going. Now, meanwhile, this is the olden days before Waze and any kind of navigational system, because I'm old. So we had a map. Do you remember a map? It was paper, and it was folded in 17 or 24 sections. And I don't know how to read a map, and I certainly don't know how to fold a map. So I would always pull it out of the glove compartment, and it was dirty. It had like coffee stains on. It looked like something like Harrison Ford was gonna go find some lost art. It was a mess. And meanwhile, Brendan's yelling at me like, read the map. And I don't know how to read the map. So this is already, we're fighting. And the kids aren't even like asleep yet, and I'm thinking they're gonna fall asleep. Somehow, finally, I'm getting it together. We get through the Midtown Tunnel. We're on our way. This is gonna be a great day. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk. We're gonna rekindle what made us have those babies in the first place. I'm thinking this. We're driving, and the kids start to fall asleep, and we start to talk a little bit. He's not. Meanwhile, we're driving. We get on the Long Island Expressway, and I notice right away that, first of all, it's super crowded. It's Saturday. It's a beach day, and everybody else, just to rub it in even more, they've got beach balls and surfboards and their lounge chairs and all their cars. While we're in our suits, we look, like we just left the compound. We're driving, and finally we're getting there, and like the exits are changing. It starts out, it's like success, and then all of a sudden it's like going very Babylon. Things aren't going. Before you know it, we're at Amityville. But before that, we get towards Great Neck, and the girls start crying. I mean, really crying, and I'm like, oh shit. And I think maybe they're hungry, maybe they're tired. I don't know what's going on. I turn around. The two of them are completely covered in a rash from head to toe. They're swollen. They look like Louis Armstrong. They're totally, they're a mess. And they're sweating, and they've got, juice stains here from the apple juice. Their dresses are a mess. The pearls are already falling off. Their hair is matted. Apparently, like their mother, they are allergic to Dacron polyester, which is understandable, and I shouldn't have had them in this fabric, which was probably also flammable, but that's another story. So I'm thinking, okay, we gotta deal with this. So I say to Brendan, pull off, we gotta find a gas station. You gotta find a Quickie Mart where we'll buy Benadryl, we'll knock them out, they will feel better. Because Benadryl, if you have kids, it's like a peck, 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 and Benadryl. Those are the two things that's all you need in your house. So I'm thinking this would be fine. So we pull off, we get to a mobile station. Now, meanwhile, they're also soaked through their diapers. They're soaking through the third layer of the lace. And I'm like, okay, Brendan, you go get the Benadryl. I'm gonna change the girls. But where am I gonna go? I change their diapers on the floor of the mobile bathroom. I'm a horrible mother. It's horrible. I take toilet paper, that's a real thick sheet of protection between the floor and my babies. But I'm at this point, I just want them in a clean diaper. So I get them changed, they're crying, they look awful, I feel terrible. Brendan gets the Benadryl, we strap them back in, I shove more cheesy goldfish in their mouth, I give them a new bottle. We give them Benadryl, and it works pretty quickly. Within 15 minutes, they are out. And now, honestly, with their wet hair and the juice shit all over them, they look like they got roofied at their prom. And they're one shoe's off, and I'm like, all right, that's where we are now. Okay, so now we're yelling again about the directions. I got to go back on navigational, and I'm like, oh shit. And we're reading it off the invite. I'm like, somehow, I don't know how, but somehow by a miracle we get off the right exit, which is literally that exit right before you do the turnaround to go to the beach. It's like the edge of the world if the world were flat. It's the last exit before you go to the Hamptons. So we get off the exit, and I'm thinking, finally, we're going to get there. I'll have a little shrimp cocktail. Maybe there'll be an ice sculpture. I don't know. Maybe we can dance. Maybe the babies will be happy. So we get to their block, and I pull up, and it's super quiet, which I'm thinking is a little unusual. And usually there's a valet, or there are a lot of cars lined up. I'm like, And so now we're starting to get ready to, trying to brush all the shit out of the kids' hair and trying to wake them up. They're still out. And before I take them out of the car, I go to grab the invite because I'm looking in the window. He has like a bay window in his house. And I see David in the window, and he's doing the dishes, which is curious at your own wedding. So I look down at the invite before I even look at Brendan, and the wedding is on Sunday. So we just drove for 2 hours with 2 children. I'm driving with a man who hates me as much almost as I hate him. I mean, it was pretty bad at that point. And I'm thinking, this is horrible. Now I have to tell Brendan that we're there at the wrong day. And I'm so embarrassed. I don't want David to know. So I just basically do like that IKEA commercial, start the car. And I throw myself back in the car. Brendan gets back in the car, and I say, we're here on the wrong day. He's like, what? I said, the wedding's tomorrow. He says, well, I'm not coming back. I said, I don't blame you. I don't want to come back either. And I'm freaking out. And meanwhile, the babies are still out. Thank God. They are knocked out. So we drive all the way back to the Upper West Side. And I don't even have a cell phone. So we get back there, and I call David. And I say, David, I am so sorry. I am an idiot, and I showed up with our family a day early, and I hope you understand, but if I'm going to be able to survive until the next year, I cannot come back tomorrow. I hope you can appreciate that we tried. And he said, I really do. And I said, David, I want you to make me this one promise. I've been your agent for a really long time. I'm trying to be really good at my job, even though I'm obviously an idiot. Can you promise me to never tell another actor or a casting director or anyone in the community that I did this, because it's so stupid? And he said, promise kept. And he did. For over 25 years, he never told a soul. I'm the big mouth who keeps telling people. But that's me. It's my story. So somehow, Brendan and I stayed married just long enough to have another kid. I don't know how. And I'm thrilled I did, because I love my children so much, and I'll always love my first husband, because if it weren't for him, I wouldn't have these 3 grown-up children now. They're all wonderful adults, and they're thriving. I haven't made that many mistakes. I mean, I've made a lot of mistakes, but not enough to kill any of them, I think, up till today. And I'm happily remarried. My husband's here, and I still check the yes box every time, because you've got to take these adventures. You've got to say yes to make the mistakes, to learn what works in your life, whether it's a good marriage, whether it's having children, because you can't look back and say of the things you didn't do. You can only talk about all the things you did and you fucked up. So I'm proud of that. I really am. And I hope you always try, at least some of you try, to check the yes box too. Thank you.